How's it going, everyone? It's Justin from Stand and Bang, and for today's video I'm going to be making my prediction and breakdown of UFC Fight Night 147, Jorge Masvidal versus Darren Till. An awesome main event to look forward to, guys, but not just that, these prelims and main cards are pretty stacked too for a Fight Night card. Good fights to look forward to. I'll pull up a picture for you guys right here of the prelims. Some really good prelim fights to look forward to, from Mark DeCasey fight versus Joe Duffy, Tom Breeze versus Ian Heinisch. Man, that fight I'm really looking forward to because Ian is coming from the Contender Series. I really like the story. If you followed the Contender Series, you know that he went to jail. He had to fight for his life, and he got an awesome knockout win and got a contract. Good to see him fighting in the UFC now. It's a really good fight. The next Arnold Allen versus Jordan Rinaldi. Arnold Allen was supposed to be fighting Gilbert Melendez a few months ago, I believe. So Arnold Allen is a pretty good prospect to look forward to. So that's just the prelims, guys. And that leads me to the first fight I want to break down, which is actually on the prelims, Mark DeCasey versus Joe Duffy. This is an awesome fight for the lightweight division. It should be a very exciting fight, just basing it off their fighting styles. Let's start with Mark DeCasey. He's a young, promising kid. We already seen him have some ups and downs. And his first couple fights though in the UFC, he had a pretty good hype train. I was on it too, man. The way he was finishing people, I thought he might be the next big thing. But then he had a couple decision losses, tough fights, and then he got finished by Dan Hooker, who's nobody hang your head down on, but got that submission loss to Dan Hooker. And I believe now Mark DeCasey's on a three fight losing streak, so he definitely needs to get his confidence back, get it back in the win column. For his perks, man, he has super orthodox kicks, man. You see him, he'd be throwing two touch kicks and landing on his feet like nothing. He's super athletic. He has a very big head kick. He has a very deadly overhand right. If he lands that overhand right on Joe Duffy, it might be lights out. It seems like when he throws everything into it. We've seen in, I believe, not his debut, but his second fight in the UFC, where he got that stunning, like 40-second knockout. It just displayed his power. His overhand right, if he lands it, it might be night. And that's very worrying for his opponent, because you're always worrying about all the kicks, but then you have to worry about that big overhand right coming. But there has been a blueprint laid out to beat Mark DeCasey, and we've seen that kind of with Dan Hooker, and we've seen the way where he could get finished with the submissions. And Joe Duffy has very good submissions, so I know that Joe Duffy's seen that fight and probably took notes. But Mark DeCasey's keys to this fight, man, he needs to keep this fight on the feet. He needs to let Joe Duffy know about his power quick. He can't just kind of like fill him out too much and let Joe Duffy get his thing going, because the longer the fight goes, the more it's gonna go in Joe Duffy's favor. So, in my opinion, Mark DeCasey needs to get Joe Duffy out of there quick. Needs to let Joe Duffy know about his power. And if he does get to the ground, man, he needs to not make too much mistakes getting up, because that's where Joe Duffy will take advantage of that and snatch up his neck for a rear naked choke or something. So stay off the feet, and if he does get to the ground, don't make a bunch of mistakes trying to get up. Don't just stand up and give up your neck. Make smart moves on the ground. Now for Joe Duffy, veteran, man. He's a veteran of the UFC. He's fought the who's who. He's, not coming off, but he has had a TKO loss to James Vick. But he's a veteran, like I said. He has wins over Conor McGregor, former lightweight champion. Don't even have to explain who McGregor is, obviously. So, and he finished McGregor via arm triangle, I believe, in like 30 seconds. So, Joe Duffy's very nasty when it comes to the grappling. And he's very technically sound with the boxing, too. And you can see in the background, we got some Joe Duffy gameplay right here. You know what I mean? Rocking with Joe Duffy for y'all. Joe Duffy's really, very good on the game too. But real life, very well rounded, very well rounded boxing. He likes to mix it up too to the body. He has some pretty good body finishes. You've seen it earlier in his UFC career. He finished people with the body shots, so he's going to want to do that against Mark DeCasey, since Mark DeCasey likes to do flashy movements and fade, and then he ends up fading in the later rounds. Do that. Joe Duffy needs to take advantage of that, land the body shots that he needs to wear out the gas tank of Mark DeCasey. Joe Duffy's keys to victories in this fight, man. He needs to mix it up. He needs to mix his striking with the wrestling, mix his striking with the body shots, going up, going down low, go up high. And then if he does get the fight to the ground, which I believe he can take Mark DeCasey down, it might be a little bit hard in the beginning because Mark DeCasey has that good fast movement in the beginning, in the first couple rounds. But if he does get him to the ground, look for the submission. Like I said, I believe Mark DeCasey will make a mistake and give up his neck or something. So look for a submission on the ground. And that leads me to my prediction, guys. I think Joe Duffy's going to win via second round submission. I think the first round, they're going to fill each other out, might exchange a little bit, and Joe Duffy might look for the takedown toward the later rounds, but might not get it because, like I said, Mark DeCasey does have that good movement, but he does fade in the later rounds. I believe by the second or third round, Joe Duffy's going to get the submission. Mark DeCasey's going to make a mistake, and Joe Duffy's going to capitalize on it. Joe Duffy's super well-rounded when it comes to the grappling exchanges, and I think that's where Mark DeCasey's going to make a mistake. So I got Joe Duffy via second round submission. On to the next fight, Dominic Reyes versus Volkan Ozdemir. This is an amazing fight and a very important fight for the light heavyweight division, where there's not too many prospects and not too many challengers for John Jones. But if actually for both fighters, if they could get a really impressive win, they might get that one step closer for a title shot. Even though Volkan has just fought for a title shot last year, he's still he was that hot prospect that was the one that was shining, had the hype train last year, so he could get that back if he gets a good win this Saturday night. Now let's start off with Dominic Reyes. Man, I've been riding Dominic Reyes' train since his first fight in the UFC. Man, he seems really special. He's undefeated right now, I believe 11-0, 10-0. He's a really, really good up-and-coming prospect with tons of potential. He really likes his left kick to the body. He's brutal with the body kicks, man. You can see in his debut where he finished the fight in about 30 seconds. He loves to spam, or not spam, but he'll throw it up pretty often to the body, and he throws it with bad intentions. And he has a left hand that's like a sniper, man. I'm telling you, the way he drops his left hand is brutal. The way he dropped it in his debut, when he dropped over St. Preux, man, like in the first round, the over St. Preux fight, man, he looked like a straight killer. Over St. Preux looked so out of it, and then leading to the literally like last few seconds of the last round in their fight, when he cut that angle and dropped that sniper-like left hand on over St. Preux, man, that was super impressive, and that just displayed so much in that little bit of seconds. It displayed his brutal sniper-like power, but also they displayed his movement, because he hit that corner. He has very good movement to get out of the way, get off the center line, and be ghost. You can see he hit that movement, and Over St. Preux had no idea where he went. He was just staring at a cage, and he was like, "What? Where did my opponent go?" Dominic Reyes was ghost, and he dropped that left hand. And the reason why he dropped Over St. Preux is because the saying, the shots that hurt you is the ones that you don't see, and he'll be hitting you, you don't even know where he went. Like when he fought Jared Cannonier, he was ghost when he be throwing that uppercut. He'll duck his head, get off the center line, and drop the uppercut. He's super good at getting off the center line, and I believe that's going to play a big part in this fight. It's one of his major tools that helps him in all of his fights is his very good movement. Reyes' keys to victory in this fight is to use his teeps. You've seen in the Jared Cannonier fight, his teeps were very good. Use his body kicks, because Volkan Ozdemir is a very tall fighter, and he has a very long body. And now this will be a big target for Dominic Reyes. So land that body kick, it's going to be there. Land a teep kick, and use that sniper left hand. Like I said, don't be there to get hit by Vulcan, because Vulcan has amazing power. I'll get into it when I start breaking his tools down. But don't be there to get hit. Be like how he fought Overstate Proof. Be smart and be ghost when he wants to drop that sniper left. Be ghost and don't be there to get hit by Vulcan. And if the fight does happen to go to the ground, which I really don't see it going because these are two very confident strikers, if it does go to the ground, Dominic Reyes can look for some submissions. He does have a rear naked choke finish in the UFC against not a pushover. I know I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name right now, but I know he's not a pushover. He's a very good fighter. So look for that rear naked choke, because we seen Volkan Ozdemir in his last fight against Anthony Smith. He ended up getting worn out, got a broken nose, I believe, and got worn out and ended up getting submitted with a rear naked choke. So look for a rear naked choke, or look for any submission if the fight happens to go to the ground. Now for Volkan Ozdemir, man, he has some of the most deceiving power most deceiving power ever in MMA. He does not need any space to drop you. He's like kind of like Francis Ngannou, but obviously Francis is not really that deceiving because he's fucking huge. You expect it, but like with Vulcan, he's big, but like he doesn't wind up too much. Like when he perfect example when he fought Misha Serkinov and he cut the corner a little bit on the cage and caught Serkinov with that short left hand. It was like, what? Like what did he hit him with? Like he hits that hard? Like, you know, it's very deceiving, and he doesn't need that much space at all to land brutal power. He loves dropping that left hand. You see it when he fought Jimmy Manuwa. He's very brutal in the clinch. He does not lack in the clinch. You see some fighters, they're very well-rounded, but then when they get to the clinch, they kind of get a little lazy and lack in the clinch, kind of like Cyborg or who am I thinking of? Or like Stipe. He caught Stipe in the fight with DC because he lacks in the clinch. He gets a little calm, puts his hands down, you know, relaxes. So Volkan Ozdemir, he doesn't do that. He'll make you pay, and since he has deceiving power, man, he doesn't need that much room to drop that left hand. But besides that, I don't see him giving too many other tools to Dominic Reyes besides that left hand if he does land it. So his keys to victory is obviously land that left hand and land it quick. Get Dominic Reyes out of there pretty soon, because we seen Vulcan. He's super durable, man. He's super tough. We seen him when he fought DC. He took some of DC's best shots, and then he ended up getting submitted, but he took DC's best shots, so he's super tough. But I don't know, man. He just doesn't have too much other tools to me that I'm seeing besides his big left hand and his power. So he needs to land his power and get the fight out of there pretty soon, because like where I was getting to was I see it, the longer this fight goes, it's going to benefit Dominic Reyes more. So get the fight out of there quick. Make Dominic Reyes make him aware of the power that Volkan Ozdemir has. And that leads me to my prediction. It's very tough fight to predict because they both have amazing power, man. And I don't want to count Vulcan out too much because, you know, Vulcan was that man last year. Like, he was that dude that, like, everybody, like, in 2017, in the beginning of 2018, he was that dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was, like, the Dominic Reyes and the Johnny Walker, what we're thinking of now. He was that next up-and-coming dude, and I don't want to count him out yet because he's been facing killers recently, and even though he's fallen short, he's still a killer himself. But I think Dominic Reyes is the next up-and-coming thing, man. I think he's going to stay undefeated. I think he's going to land his shots on Volkan Ozdemir, and I believe he's going to... I don't know. It's hard to say if he's going to get him out of there. I think if he does get him out of there, it's probably going to be late, like third round. I'll go with third round TKO, but I won't be surprised if it goes the distance because Volkanovski is super tough. We've seen it with the DC fight. Super tough. He could take some hard shots. So won't be surprised if if it goes the distance. But I got Dominic Reyes via third round TKO. On to the main event of the evening. We got Darren Till versus Jorge Masvidal. An amazing fight. I'm so happy this fight's a 5-rounder. Let's get right into it with Darren Till. Obviously, man, huge welterweight. One of the biggest welterweights, or if not the biggest welterweight in the UFC. Huge power. Really good Muay Thai fighter. He has that big left hand, but he throws it in very different ways. He likes to throw it with the straight left, but then he throws overhand left, and then he also throws it in like an uppercut. He has that's his very good go-to punch. You always see him loading up on it. That's his pretty much his go-to, but he throws it in very different ways. He also likes looking for the elbows, looks for the knees and the clinch. But pretty much everything is to kind of set up the left hand. He also likes to go to a combo where it's a right uppercut to a left hand. Now, it's a right uppercut to like a left straight. And now I don't know if he's going to be throwing that in this fight. He usually throws it in like all of his fights. But in his last fight, he threw it against Tyron Woodley, and that's where he got dropped with Tyron Woodley's right hand. So maybe he might be a little gun shy to throw that combo. He's always had a lot of success with it, but in his recent fight it cost him, and it's going to be interesting to see if it costs. It's going to be interesting to see if he's gun shy to throw it or if he's confident enough to throw it or not. He also loves his oblique kicks, man. He destroyed the knees of Stephen Thompson. That was an amazing karate technical fight. And when it came to the oblique kicks, man, at that kicking range, Darren Till will destroy your knees, man. The kicking range is his thing, and his oblique kicks are deadly. And that kind of leads me to his keys to victory, man. He needs to utilize his oblique kicks on Jorge Masvidal. Use his big left hand, and don't get in too long of exchanges with Jorge Masvidal. That's where Jorge Masvidal has his best moments. Long exchanges. Make it where there's more of a brawl. That's where Jorge Masvidal has his best moments. So Darren Till needs to stay at the kicking range, land his big left hand, utilize some good work in the clinch, but don't throw long combinations. Do the 1, 2, and then get out of there. One shot, a couple shots. A couple shots is cool, but don't throw too much, and utilize the oblique kicks. Leads me to Jorge Masvidal. Amazing boxer, man. He also has a street fighting background. You see where he look it up on YouTube. He's one of the only fighters where you can see fighting professionally and also street fights. He has tons of street fights and even fights with the same crew with Kimbo Slice. He was part of that same Florida like street fight gang shit. He has amazing boxing skills, man. He also has that like how do you say it? Like he has that kind of like killed or be killed mentality where he's just gonna come and scrap and brawl. He's not gonna look for a point fight. He's not gonna look for a, you know what I mean, win by points. He's gonna look for a brawl, look for a real fight, and that's what I love. That's what the fans love about Masvidal, and that's why we're so happy when we're hearing that he was gonna be fighting Nick Diaz months ago. But sadly, that's not happening. But we got dissed by Darren Till, which is so awesome, and that's what we love. We got killed or be killed Jorge Masvidal versus this fucking I'll murk anybody mentality of Darren Till, and it should be an awesome matchup. Jorge Masvidal, besides the killed or be killed mentality, he like I was saying for when I was describing Darren Till's perks. Jorge Masvidal loves to combo up and have long exchanges where Darren Till doesn't. He likes to give one shot, a couple shots, and get out of there. Jorge Masvidal loves to do his exchange combos. He loves to mix up the punches to the body, and that's where I believe he's gonna have some really good work with Darren Till, because we know Darren Till always has tough weight cuts, and if Masvidal's always brutal with the body shots, man. We've seen it in the Cowboy fight, endless fights, man. So he mixed up those body shots. It's gonna wear on Darren Till, and especially with plus the weight cut, it's gonna wear for sure. And then especially if Darren Till has even a bad weight cut, because we know it's already like a tough weight cut for him, but we've seen him have even like really bad weight cuts in the past where he almost like dies, no jokingly. So yeah, even though it's mean to say, like, he needs to take advantage of the fact that Darren Till has bad weight cuts. Sap the gas tank of Darren Till, work the punches to the body, and that's part of the keys to victory for for Jorge Masvidal, is to work the gas tank of Darren Till, make it a dog fight. Don't stay at the kicking range of Darren Till, because that's where Darren Till is gonna have his best moments. Yeah, don't at all. Don't stay at the kicking range. Make it a brawl. Come in there, work the body of Darren Till, and like the other fight where the Dominic Reyes fight and Volkan Ozdemir, I don't believe it'll go to the ground because these are two confident strikers. But if it does, even though Darren Till has a big size advantage, I think for sure Jorge Masvidal is going to have a grappling advantage. So if it does go there, Jorge Masvidal does have the submissions off of on the ground to get it done. So work the combos, get in, make it a brawl. Don't stay at kicking range. Work the body, have long combinations, and if it does get to the ground, look for the submission on Darren Till. And that leads me to my prediction, guys. This is a very tough fight to predict. It could go either way, but since it's going to be a 5-rounder, I'm leaning towards Jorge Masvidal. We've seen him; he's super tough. He could take a shot. I don't see him getting finished by Darren Till, since he's super tough. Even though Darren Till has brutal power, I don't see really anybody putting Masvidal's lights out. So I got Jorge Masvidal via 4th round TKO, since we've seen Darren Till take a good shot too. He's pretty tough, but I believe the gas tank of Darren Till and the constant pressure of Jorge Masvidal is gonna wear him out and eventually get him out there by the 4th round or maybe the 5th round. And if it goes to a decision, I believe definitely it's gonna go towards Masvidal's favor, because, like I said, it's just gonna Darren Till's gas tank. I don't believe is gonna hold up, especially if he has a bad weight cut. So I got Jorge Masvidal via 4th round TKO. Alright guys, that's my prediction and breakdown for UFC Fight Night 147, Darren Till versus Jorge Masvidal in London. Remember guys, this fight's starting like few or 4 hours earlier, so if you're in the California area, the prelims are starting around 4 a.m. Or what am I saying? The prelims are starting around 10 a.m. Alright guys, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Peace out.